Are the best business lines of credit with easy approval? Let's have a conversation about that, okay? So the first thing is that when you think about a business line of credit, whether it is with easy approval, with quote unquote complicated approval, what are we really talking about? Because a lot of entrepreneurs actually have a fuzzy idea about a business line of credit, what you can use it for, okay? So if you think about it, and I really want to simplify things for you. Simply put, a line of credit, a business line of credit, is actually a flexible loan option that lets you borrow up to a certain limit, repay it, and borrow again, kind of like a credit card, okay? But usually with better terms for businesses. In other words, what happens here is that you can have a business line of credit for up to $1 million or even $10 million, okay? And you can have an APR even if you're lucky and you have a good credit profile, either on the business side but also on the personal side. You can have a single digit APR. I've seen business lines of credit at Chase or Truist or even alternative lenders or even online lenders such as a Bluevine, and they're charging you like 9%, like 9%, 8.99%. So that's really good. Okay. So the cool thing is, if you are a business owner, you listen to me right now. It doesn't matter if you have a brick and mortar retail shop, you have a regular business, or you have an online business. You can actually use a business line of credit to actually take care of some operational activities, especially when you have those gaps in cash flow. Some customers don't pay on time, or you have some drops in cash flow, and you are trying to seize opportunity in your business. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So a lot of businesses use business lines of credit to manage cash flow, cover unexpected expenses like emergencies, all that kind of stuff. Buy inventory, like sometimes inventory goes up and down in this economy. Those trends happens all the time. So when you need to buy inventory and you are short on cash in your business, you can use a business line of credit, or you can also invest in short-term opportunities. Like those opportunities, they can come like this, and when you see them, you want to seize them. But if you are short on cash, again, you have a business line of credit, you can use it, okay? So unlike a traditional business loan, you only pay interest on the amount you use, okay? Which makes it super flexible, especially from a cash flow perspective, but also from a budgetary perspective. So when I talk to you about the best business lines of credit with easy approval, you need to understand that you have several types of business line of credit, okay? Not just because those lines of credits have different qualification criteria. It's mostly about, let's say, the terms and conditions, okay? So you have secured business line of credit. You have unsecured business line of credit. You have personal line of credit for business, and you have online lenders and fintech options. Let me first talk to you about the secured line of credit. I mean, here you have a loan program that requires collateral like business assets or personal property. So the lender might ask you to pledge, for instance, machinery in your business, or let's say a property, plant, and equipment, or even your personal property like your car, your house. You know, like I wouldn't really, I would really advise you against mixing personal affairs with business affairs, because something were to happen, you could lose your personal property. You do not want the bank or the credit union or whatever lender you do business with to seize your personal property, right? So you always want to separate personal property from business affairs. And also, secure line of credit usually offers lower interest rates and higher limits, because the lender is not really taking that much risk, okay? Because everything is collateralized, so the risk is lower, okay? And you also have unsecured business line of credit. That's what you want anyway, okay? That's the ideal. And so no collateral is needed, but stricter approval and higher rates. Like you might have an APR in the two digits, like 20% or 15%. And actually, if you have strong credit, but you have limited assets, you can actually go with an unsecured business line of credit. Or the other two, you can use a personal line of credit for a business. So you can go to your bank or credit union and actually secure a personal line of credit there and use it for business. The only problem here is that you're not going to get that much unless you have a strong financial profile, because the personal line of credit sometimes is capped at $100,000. Okay. Whereas you can actually have up to $1 million or even $10 million if you were to go with a business line of credit. So when you go when you opt for a personal line of credit, you can really do it if you don't need that much money. And also an online lenders and fintech options like such as Blue Vine or other lenders, those are pretty good too. So when you think about the best business lines of credit with easy approval, once you understand what a business line of credit really is and the types of business lines of credit, I want to talk to you about factors that affect approval. So what are the factors that approve those business lines of credit real fast? Okay, because if you're talking about easy approval, you better understand the factors that really can help you with that ease in approval. So basically, you have credit score, you have the time in business, you have revenue, you have business bank statements, and you have the industry type. Let me talk about the industry type first. So some industries are considered riskier than others, okay? Not just because they're bad, it's just that the lender is looking at their risk model and they're saying based on their experience or based on their algorithms that some industries are more quote unquote complicated than others, okay? So if you are in an industry that is considered complicated quote unquote than others, you might actually have a difficulty being approved. You could still be approved, but you'll find it difficult. In other words, even if you get approved, you might get approved at a higher APR, right? So this is something to really keep in mind. And so business bank statements, make sure that you have your business bank statements. And here, the lender is verifying your income and expenses to see. Sometimes they'll also ask you your financial statements, especially your P&L, your profit and loss statements, okay? And so it's just to see your cash inflows and cash outflows, because at the end of the day, when you ask for a business line of credit, the lender wants to make sure that you have the possibility, you have the funding, you will have enough funds to repay the whatever you tap from the business line of credit, right? Because a business line of credit, the whole amount is not due. You only pay what you draw from the amount. Your revenue, okay, so lenders want to see whether you have steady cash flow to repay. That makes sense. And revenue, you can actually check revenue. The lenders will check revenue through three sources: your P&L, so your profit and loss statement. They'll take a look at your tax statements, so your tax returns for your business. So it could be your 1065 or your 1120S or your 1120, depending on the legal structure of your business. And the third area they will look is your cash flow statements. So they will pay attention to the top three categories that you have in a typical cash flow statements. So cash flow from operating activities, cash flow from investing activities, and cash flow from financing activities. So those are three areas that lenders will look at. Okay, they'll also look at your credit score and your time in business. When I say credit score, I'm speaking simultaneously about your personal credit score, but also your business credit score, your payday score, your Experian business credit score, or your Equifax business credit score. So when you think about the best business lines of credit with easy approval, let's talk about those lenders that you want to reach out to actually increase your chances of being approved this year if you were to apply. So you have a Blue Vine, you have Cabbage, you have Fundbox, you have OnDeck, you have Street Shares, among others, right? Now, when we talk about easy approval, you can see that there are no big banks, there are no credit unions in the list, and that's just because those big banks, they require you to have an existing relationship with them, an existing banking relationship with them. Sometimes they might ask you to they might require you to have a higher personal credit score, okay? And when that happens also, they might also ask you for collateral, like to pledge some collateral or have some personal lien, like a tax lien or whatever, okay? So if you're looking for easy approval business lines of credit, go for the online lenders, but also alternative lenders. So Bluevine is an online lender. Cabbage also. Fundbox is one also. On deck also, and StreetShares is more of an alternative lenders. If you think about Bluevine, what I love about Bluevine is that no collateral is required. Okay, you have credit limits up to a quarter of a million. You can be funded real fast, and also Bluevine is actually expanding into a full-fledged banking operations. So you can actually have a business bank account with Bluevine. You can have a business loan, business loan under certain conditions, but also a business line of credit. Cabbage actually is a pretty interesting situation because Cabbage used to be an independent company, and during COVID, actually, they got bought over by American Express. And that's pretty good because basically now they're part of a stronger institution, a stronger financial institution. Okay, Cabbage will also give you up to a quarter of a million in business lines of credit. That's really good. Okay, and there is no collateral required, and there are no upfront fees. Fantastic. You also have a Fundbox. Fundbox actually is great for you if you have a low credit score and you have credit limits up to $150,000. Okay, and you get funded real fast too. So I personally love Fundbox because they have a fast decision process, usually within 24 hours. So when you think about the best business lines of credit with easy approval, you also have to put under your radar. You have to put on your radar On Deck and StreetShares. And when I think about StreetShares, I want to quickly talk about StreetShares. StreetShares has been around for a while. They used to be an independent company too, but they got bought over by an investment conglomerate. So now they're part of that investment conglomerate. Okay, but the cool thing is that StreetShares is doing something fantastic because they focus on veteran-owned businesses, but they're open to all. But their focus is actually veteran-owned businesses. The reason why I love that is because you don't have a lot of lenders. They're focused on those veteran-owned businesses. Okay, those veterans they need funding too. So if a lender is actually reaching out to those niches, that's really fantastic. Okay, and the cool thing is StreetShares is very generous when it comes to approving business lines of credit, and they will go all the way to $250,000. Okay. And you have flexible terms and quick approvals, and they also have an online application process. And their credit score requirements are pretty flexible too. And you also have On Deck. On Deck is actually one of the least generous lenders on this list. But hey, listen, they will give you $100,000 in maximum business line of credit. I think $100,000 is still money. It's still a lot of cash for a small business. Okay, especially because On Deck can really fund you real fast. You can be funded within 12 to 18 hours. Okay, and if you are not lucky, if you require more documentation, if they require more documentation from you, they might extend the approval process to 24 to 48 hours. But it's still good anyway. Okay. And you are able to actually get approved even if your credit score is around 550 to 600. So that really gives you a lot of flexibility. It gives small businesses a lot of flexibility. Okay. One thing you need to understand here is that whether you go with Bluevine, Cabbage, Fundbox, On Deck, StreetShares, or others, you always want to compare terms, fees, and interest rates before you apply. And if you even better, you want to go through a pre-qualification process, a soft pull process where you do not expose your credit score. Okay, you just see what's out there. You just see what's really possible. And if you like what you see, then you can really just apply for real, right? But you never want to apply right away. You want to pre-qualify first. And again, if you love the terms and conditions, then you can really let them do a hard pull. So if you think about the best business lines of credit with easy approval, it's important to understand that you gotta have the right mindset and the right strategy when applying. So one thing you need to understand is that you want to first organize your financial documents. When I say financial documents, I'm speaking about your business bank statements, your tax returns, and financial statements. Okay. Now, if you use software, accounting software such as QuickBooks or Zero or Wave or others, getting your financial statements should be pretty easy, right? Just go to the software and choose the date you're really interested in. I mean, usually lenders like to see the last 3 years, okay? And if you haven't been in business for that long, they want to see the last 3 months or the last year at least. So just choose the date, put the settings in the date, and just print out those financial statements. Usually, there are 4 financial statements that lenders want to see, but hey, listen, if you can have 3, that's fine. So the 4 are cash flow statements, balance sheets, income statements, and owner's equity statement. Now, the last statement, owner's equity statement, is not that important, but it's a nice to have. It's a nice to have, okay? So tax returns, I've said this before, your business tax returns. If you don't file business tax returns, you have to show your personal tax returns, your 1040. The reason is that lenders just want to verify your revenue, but also verify your compliance with the tax laws, like you're not having any kind of tax evasion, whatever. Okay, because that's part of your business being legit too. Okay, because they will track your EIN and make sure that your EIN is in order at the federal level, but also at the state level. Your bank statements, that's pretty logical, right? Just to go to your bank and print the last 3 months of your bank statement. That's pretty fine too. So you want to check your credit scores, okay? Check your credit. So once you organize your financial statements, check your credit scores. And again, when I say credit scores, you can see that you can hear that I put scores in plural, right? Check your business credit score and your personal credit score. You have to check those two simultaneously because if there are problems in either department, you want to fix those problems real fast. You also want to prepare a clear business plan or use case. Okay, it's all about making a case. It's all about actually justifying a little bit. It's like a pitch about why lenders should actually fund your business. You want to also start with smaller credit limits. When it comes to if you want to be approved real fast, there is a difference between asking for $100,000 and asking for 1 million. Okay, and you also want to apply with multiple lenders because you want to increase your chances of actually getting approved and also compare what's out there. So when it comes to the best business lines of credit with easy approval, there are certain things you need to avoid. Okay, there are some common mistakes I want to really talk to you about that you need to avoid. Don't apply with incomplete or inaccurate information. Always be truthful. Always tell the truth on any funding application, whether it is for business or personal. Okay, you always want to tell the truth because lying will be will be counterproductive and will be illegal. Will be against the law, really, and the lenders can turn around and really sue you. So you do not want to have that. Okay, and can you imagine you actually start a relationship with the lender on the wrong foot? That's really bad. That's really bad. So don't put inaccurate information. Don't ignore fees and interest rates. Always read the fine prints. When I'm speaking about fees and interest rates, I'm talking about fees such as closing fees, for instance, origination fees. Sometimes origination fees can go all the way to 10%. Can you imagine that 10%? I mean, you're asking for $100,000 and they're taking 10% off the loan amount right away. Which means if you're asking for $100,000, you're only getting $90,000, but you still have to pay the $100,000. Okay. Also, don't mix personal and business finances. I've said this before, so I'm not going to repeat it. Okay. Never mix business and personal affairs. Don't apply for too much credit at once because this can hurt your credit score and can also hurt your finances. Because remember, either you get a business loan or a business line of credit, you still have to pay it. You still have to pay back whatever you borrowed. Okay, so you better have the right budget to actually take care of the repayment process. And also, speaking about repayment process, you got to have a repayment plan. Okay, repayment plan is important because you want to really have a clear idea of where you will find the funds to repay whatever you took from the business line of credit. So being cautious now saves headaches later, especially when it comes to paying large lines of credit. Okay. So one thing you need to understand is that the best business lines of credit with easy approval can really help you big time. Okay. But you have to really make sure that you go to certain lenders, that you have the right strategy to secure funding real fast, and then you have a repayment plan to make sure that you can really streamline your financial operations. So, as a coda into this conversation, I spoke to you about the best business lines of credit with easy approval, and I gave you our top five business lines of credit: Blue Vine, Cabbage, Funbox, On Deck, and Street Shares. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.